Hey Stacey, this is Dennis with CFO on the go. Hey, listen, I was going to jam out a little video for you here. I'm going to try and keep it like 10 or 12 minutes. Otherwise, it kind of gets a little overwhelming. So, uh, I'm going to show you estimating. Before we can determine if it will work for you or not, I would have to see one of your estimates that you're currently doing because you're kind of very specialized. And so, but long story short, here's like this is a joint trench pipeline, right? It's 1,125 square feet. I'm sorry, linear feet. And these are just formulas that I put in here. So I know I need 0.02 man hours of an operator for every foot up here. So it just takes this 0.025 times the linear feet and tells me that I need 28 hours. I need 1,125 foot of pipe. I need so many conduit sweeps. I need so much sand for backfill, etc. Once these are built, then every time I bid a job like this, the only thing I have to do is come up here and enter in the linear feet, and this will now print my proposal for me and enter the numbers into the budget for my cost report. So we just have to look at it. I assume that you're doing it in Excel today. 99 out of 100 times, if it's being done in Excel, we can do it in here. So we'll try to take a look at one of your estimates to really make sure, but I'm pretty sure we will be able to do that. The other thing that I'm going to show you is some of the really nice cost reports, and these are a couple that you had marked off. So I'm just going to pull up a job here real quick. Hang on. Very simple job. These are my items that I have to do on the job. This is how many hours I estimated they were going to take. So they could either come from my estimating program, or they could just be keyed in from your Excel program or copy and pasted. It doesn't really make any difference. These are the hours that you've thrown through payroll so far. So as an example, on this line here, if we've used 32% of the hours, it was just 16 divided by 50. I actually am 50% complete. So if I recalculate this to make sure everything's right here, it tells me that I need 16 hours to finish it, and I'm going to be 18 hours under budget. And so these are those man-hour reports, and they can be run once a week after payroll's processed to give to the superintendents or project managers to show them how well they're doing it. Another way to look at it is by unit, and your business really lends itself to doing that. And so these are just items I have. So here's storm drainage, sewer. This is my budget. This is what came out of the estimate, $67,000. I had 279 linear feet, 279 manholes to lift. I don't care, as long as you can measure it. This is how much cost you have thrown through the system, either through payroll, that's with burden and insurance and what have you. And this is how many feet they actually have done. So they come in here and say, hey, I've got 200 feet done. Just making these numbers up, obviously. I come in here, and now you can see that I budgeted $238. It's costing me $205. So I'm $32 a foot under budget, and I have 79 left. This is what it's going to cost to finish it, and that's how much I'm going to be under budget. So it's a great tool to give to the estimators when these jobs are completed so they can see how well their unit cost compared to what they were actually estimating. So it really comes in handy. And those are just two standard reports that come with the system. So not a whole lot of extra efforts going into that. Payrolls, if I look under payroll reports, I have certified payroll. I do have workers' comp, and I think in workers' comp, if I pull this up, California actually uses a standard form, so it's not specialized, but it just comes up, and here's a sample of it. And just by pay groups, how many hours we have, what the wages were, and then a subtotal for the month. Has each of their check numbers, so it's pretty well documented on what we paid them, what their wages were, and what workers' comp rate they were paid at. In this case, it was an exempt employee, so there is none. So it does workers' comp reports, does union reports if you're union, it does hours reports, which is man-hour reports, and then certified payrolls. We have the normal WH 397, I think it is, or 347. But in addition to that, there's a specific form for California. We have that form as well in the system. So we're very specialized. So if I go to payroll and I go to federal and tax filings and I go to state forms and I just pull in California again, then there's my 131, my 34, my 88, and my 9D and 9C. So those reports are already included in the system. I don't know what we have here. If you sneak into, hang on, let me just scroll down a little bit. If you sneak over into Nevada, then we have the Nevada forms. I know you're kind of up there, and some people out of that area will go over to Reno and do some work. So we also have all the forms for Nevada as well. So that's that. We have a few other things that may be of interest to you. One is inventory. We have full inventory system. That inventory can be kept on, hang on, it's popping up. Like I could have inventory in a warehouse. I could have inventory in a yard. I could have inventory on individual trucks. Or if I bought a lot of stuff and I wanted to keep it on the job site to save shipping, I could actually have trailers or a job site as well. I could just say job 97 yard and carry inventory in there. So as I buy things, I would put them into inventory. As people, and this is the key, by the way, and as people take things out of that pile or out of that yard, they'll turn in a invoice or a inventory requisition slip, which then entered into the system, which will now charge a job for that material and reduce the inventory in the stockpile and on the balance sheet. So the key there is you have to make sure that people are filling out the paperwork, and that's usually where the system, I won't say fails, the system works fine. It's that the processes fail because people take stuff out of there, load it on the truck, and they don't tell anybody. So the job gets a whole bunch of stuff for free. And at the end of the day, you have nothing on the ground, and you have a balance on your balance sheet for that location. So it's got to be careful that they do their work the way they're supposed to. The other thing I wanted to show you here is, and there's so many cost reports in here, there's just no way to show you all of them. But one of the things I like to do is I go into reports and I type in job cost, and you'll see there's actually 139 cost reports that come with the system. I'm going to show you just a couple that I know our customers use. This one here, which is by cost code and then subtotal by division, and we'll talk about how that could work for your company. But this is my budget. This is change orders that were approved. This is the new budget. This is what I spent to date. So that's that one. That is one that everybody likes. And this is another one that owners like. It's just really a snapshot of what have I billed out and what have I spent. And so it gives me the gross profit and percentage for each job. So here's another one that just gives me totals of what I spent on. So it's 139. What you're going to do is you're going to go through here. I assume that you may have to do bonding reports. The bonding report is also included. So once you find the ones you like, you'll do like I did here. You'll put these onto your desktop so that you can find them really quickly. So one of the advantages of our reports, and this is really something that I really like, I'm just going to pull up a job cost report real quick, so hang on. And so this is the contract value the day I signed the contract, $82,000 or $81,000. These are change orders that the owner has signed and returned. So now I have a value on my contract of almost 92. These are the tasks that I have to perform, whether it's material, labor, or equipment charges. In this case, I can see here that I spent $2,100 on labor. I can double click that and it'll tell me who that was and what date they were out there and how much each of those days cost. So I can see my labor cost. If I come down, I have to go down to another page, hang on a second. So if I go to this one here where it's a material item, I can double click this. I can see quickly that I spent $6,700 with Home Depot. That still doesn't ring a bell. I can go back and look at the actual AP data entry screen where I actually entered in the vendor, the job, and then the items I bought, or those items could have been populated from a purchase order that was already filled out, which makes it a lot easier. This is how many I've got. This is the price that I paid. So I can see exactly how I spent that money. Also, there's a paperclip up here. I should probably address that here. There's a paperclip. So when you got in the invoice and you scanned it in, you could attach that scanned document here. So anytime you look at this, the actual invoice will be there. So you could actually just come down here and say materials as per invoice, and the invoice would be attached. If somebody in the field actually signed a receiving document that they received this, you could attach the receiving document as well. So all the documentation would be sitting here in electronic form rather than in a paper form. And so that's a report a lot of our clients use. You didn't mention equipment in any of your things, and I'm just going to address it real quick. If you have equipment, we allow you to charge your equipment, and I imagine you have some large pieces of equipment, allows you to charge your equipment cost to the job just like you would charge an employee to the job. And so that would be one way, one module that you may really want to use. Payroll, I'm going to go back up here. I can enter payroll like I showed you before back in here. Let's go to Carlos real quick. So I can enter by day the job that they work, the comp code, cost code that they worked on. Is it regular pay, overtime pay? If it's a prevailing wage job, what pay group were they working in that day, or just use his default? This is the rate for that pay group. This is the number of hours he worked. This is the workers' comp code that I want to charge that to, and it will default based on the cost code, and we'll help you set those up. So that's version A. I can enter it that way. Version B is I can actually enter it. If I can get time cards from each person each day, I would actually, in this case, tomorrow, enter all of the payroll for Monday and all the employees and jobs. So I enter Tuesday. On Tuesday, I enter Mondays. On Wednesday, I enter Tuesdays. By the time I get to the following week, I really only have one more day to enter before I process payroll, which is a nice thing. So you could do it that way. The last way is I can actually, if they have access from the field, they can actually fill out something like this. It's called our daily field report. Who worked today? I'm sorry, start up here first. What job did they work on today? What item of work were they doing? Is it regular time, overtime pay, premium pay? Again, what pay group did they work as today? And how many hours did they work today? This information here can be collected on a daily basis. They can dial into the system and do it. And then on Monday, you basically hit a button and it brings all of this information in because you have everything you need for payroll here. I know the job. I know the employee. I know what they were doing. I know what rate of pay I'm supposed to pay them. And I know how long they work. So everything I need for the time card is right here. And I can populate the time card automatically from here. So anyway, that's about 12 minutes. I don't want to take much more of your time. If any of that stuff looks like it's going to work for your company, shoot me an email and we'll set up a demo where we can jump online. You can ask questions and get a little bit more detail. And especially if you want to involve more people from your company to look at this, like an estimator or your equipment manager or the owner. So we can actually do a pretty nice demo for those people as well. So bottom line is that's kind of what Sage 100 does. Take a look. If it makes sense, give us a call back and we'll get you set up for a demo. Anyway, I appreciate your time.